Good morning. My name is Shinya Ichikawa, born and raised in Seattle, but a much longer time resident of Portland. The order of the closing service will be as follows. Rinban Katsuya Kusunoki of the Seattle Bitsuin will lead us in chanting Sambutsuge. Then Reverend Jim Warwick of the White River Buddhist Temple will recite the Jodo Shinshu Creed. Finally, Reverend Yuki Sugahara of Oregon Buddhist Temple will give the Dharma talk. We will now begin the service. Rinban Kusunoki.
Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Vinamanda, 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 Namanda, Namanda. 요그르 세선 요음은 님노 시심 진도금을요 그근 고을다이 뒤에 짐묘 고을묘의소 심노을다이셈 강가사은 사이쇼의호의홈 가도쇼의지 미흑계단 의세조의임 아이니쇼의짐 묘세삼마이 뒤에 이조 로세이토금은 의교시간 이사이 그근 이사다이한 계시음은 야그센 노그밤 무료의나이쇼 근요고의자 그요의이사이 시도의쇼은 근요그도 겐쇼의그약 이뇨고의자 쇼근세가이 르그가게 으슈센도 고유묘시쇼 엔시쇼복 묘세쇼의진 이진난묘 묘의가사은 고그도다이 고즈기묘 도의조의조의셋 고그뇨나이온 니무도의손 가도의아이밈 도단이사이 지모의라이쇼 신내준쇼의조 이토의가고 계약의안놈 고유분심묘 세가신쇼 온간로히 이쇼쇼요 지고세선 지혜무게 조의료시선 지가심묘 계교심지 쇼그도그즈 야교조의짐 니 Namo Amitabha, Namo Amitabha, Namo Amitabha, Namo Amitabha, Namo Amitabha,
Jodo Shinshu Creed. I put my trust in the vow of Amida Buddha. Reciting Namo Amida Butsu, let us live life to the utmost with strength and joy. I look to the light of Amida Buddha, consistently reflecting upon myself. Let us strive to live a life of gratitude. I shall follow the teachings of Amida Buddha. Awakening to the right path, let us share the true Dharma with others. I rejoice in the compassion of Amida Buddha. Mutually respecting and aiding each other, let us endeavor to work for the good of all.
At first, I would like to share the words of Shinran Shongin, our founder, from chapter on Shinjin of Kyogyo Shinsho. So please join me in Gassho. Please put your palms together. しかるに教義門というは、主上仏願の正気本末を聞きて疑心あることなし。これを門というなり、信心というはすなわち、本願理傾向の信心なりと。The word here in the passage from the Raja Sutra means that sentient beings, having heard how the Buddha's vow arose, its origin and fulfillment, are altogether free of doubt. This is to hear. Shinjin, it's Shinjin that is directed to beings through the power of the primal vow. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu. Good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for attending the closing service for the 74th Annual Northwest District Convention. Because this service is virtual and many people from different parts of the world is participating in the convention, I am not sure if everybody knows me or not. So let me briefly introduce myself. I am Yuki Sugahara, a resident minister of Oregon Buddhist Temple. And you know, this is a secret, but during the pandemic, I gained the magical power. Members of Oregon Buddhist Temple know that if I clap my hand, the map appears right next to me. And I'm originally from Jodo Shinshu minister's family in Shimane Prefecture. but my temple was really small temple. So my father worked outside of Shimane Prefecture. So I lived in the parsonage at Tsukiji Honganji until 7 years old, moved to Kyoto for a year, and then to Kanazawa City. I graduated elementary, middle, and high school in Kanazawa, so I consider Kanazawa as my hometown. And Kanazawa City is a beautiful place. It's known as a little Kyoto. Well, from the people of Kanazawa, Kanazawa is Kanazawa, so it's not like a little Kyoto. But, many people love visiting Kanazawa because it's more or less people compared to Kyoto. And if you have not been there, please consider visiting there. It's really a beautiful place. But when I first took my wife, she's from Kyoto, to Kanazawa, she was like, oh, it's like Kyoto. So, people from Kyoto might not be impressed visiting Kanazawa, but if you like seafood, Kanazawa is one of the best places in Japan to visit. Anyway, as Reverend Peter mentioned at the beginning of his talk, I play bass guitar as one of my hobbies. You are hearing my rendition of the Beatles in my life as the background. This is one of my favorite songs of the Beatles. And isn't it amazing how the song from almost 50, not 60 years yet, right? But almost 60 years ago, still resonate in people's mind. Another hobby is practicing Chinese martial arts. And I had strong interest in Chinese martial arts growing up, watching Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, and Jet Li movies. But I had no chance to learn it when I was younger. And when I was in Sacramento, I found one of the schools of Eagle Claw Kung Fu. So I started to learn Kung Fu. And now I participate in the tournaments and won some gold medals and awards in the tournaments too. So, it's really fun to move body and learn the art of self-defense. And now my interest expanded to Tai Chi, and I'm learning both Wu style and Yan style Tai Chi. So I hope I am able to share what I have learned to the Sangha members one day too. Anyway, it was before my move to Portland, but last time we hosted the convention, it was snowstorm or ice storm. So not many people could not attend or make it to the convention. And this time, we were planning this convention for years. Then pandemic of COVID-19 happened. So we had to decide to move convention from in-person to virtual. But thanks to the technologies and experiences of streaming services for years, it actually went really well, don't you think? So I'm sorry for omitting the titles to call your name, but I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Peter Hata, Kim Stafford, Koichi Mizushima, Koe Umezu, and Nobuko Miyamoto for your wonderful presentation. And I am sure that everyone enjoyed and may be still enjoying the presentation online. And I also like to appreciate the committee members of this convention, Carol Saiget, Kathy Yarn, Ken Garner, Ryan Davis, Angie Hughes, and Al Ono for spending so much time for preparing the convention and making sure the convention runs smoothly. It was not easy transformation from in-person to the virtual convention, but because of your idea, we were able to conclude the convention with success. And this year's convention's theme, Art of Buddhist Living. This idea came up while we were chatting. But, if we limit to the art of Buddhist living, it's a little challenging topic to talk to. So to widen the meaning of the theme, we made the word art into acronym: appreciation, realization, and transformation. When we apply this A, R, and T to Jodo Shinshu teaching, actually, the order should be realization, appreciation, and transformation. Because we realize, recognize, or be mindful of Amida Buddha's working, appreciate the working, and how we live our daily lives will transform. But one of the committee members said, then the theme becomes art of Buddhist living. We didn't want that. So we kept the theme as art of Buddhist living. And each presenters did a wonderful job. And in Reverend Peter Hara's keynote speech, he emphasized the importance of deep listening. This deep listening is really important in our tradition, Jodo Shinshu. And Reverend Hara mentioned dictating the music notes by notes. That's what I used to do. For instance, this is a track I created. I hope you are hearing the track now. I listened to the piece many times, and this is Hiroshima's 1,000 Cranes. And I'm not sure if all the notes and drum beats are correct, but through listening carefully, we realize which notes were used, what chords were used, kind of things. So through deep listening, we have more clear understanding of the music itself. And this is same for Jodo Shinshu teaching. As I shared the words of Shinran Shongin at the beginning, we hear the origin and the fulfillment of the vow. And through accepting the calling of Buddhas in the name Namo Amida Butsu, we realize what kind of person I am and why we have to entrust ourselves to the working of Amida Buddha. And Shantao, one of the seven Pure Land masters, said in his commentary on the Contemplation Sutra, the second is deep mind. Deep mind is deeply entrusting mind. There are two aspects. One is to believe deeply and decidedly that you are a foolish being of karmic evil, caught in birth and death, ever sinking and ever wandering in transmigration from innumerable kalpas in the past, with never a condition that would lead to emancipation. The second is to believe deeply and decidedly that Amida Buddha's 48 vows grasp sentient beings, and that allowing yourself to be carried by the power of the vow without any doubt or apprehension, you will attain birth. So we were wandering, transmigrating this birth and death because of our ignorance, self-centeredness. But because of our nature, possessing these kind of blind passions, Amida Buddha established the 48 vows to grasp us and never abandon us, to take to the realm of awakening, the Pure Land. So through entrusting ourselves to the working of Amida Buddha, we are able to reach to the Pure Land. You know, this is my 10th year as Minister of BCA. And this is from when I was invited to Junior YBA conference in Fresno as a guest speaker. I might have shared this story with you before, but you know, that time was actually my first time to travel to Fresno. And at that time, I didn't know there are Fresno Betzin and Fresno Dharma Center. And, you know, they locate on the different places. And somehow, I misunderstood the conference is at Fresno Betzin. So I drove to Fresno Betzin and arrived there about 30 minutes before the conference. but there were no cars in the parking lot. Then I thought, wow, people in Central Cal is really slow. But after 15 minutes, no one still showed up. So I started to worry. And I called the chairperson of the conference. And I finally understood that the conference was at Fresno Dharma Center. So I quickly typed in Fresno Dharma Center in my GPS, but it did not show up. So I was wondering what to do. Then Reverend Rai, who was the minister of Fresno Basin at that time, happened to pick up altar flowers they forgot to bring to the convention. And then Reverend Rai said, just follow me. So I followed Reverend Rai and safely arrived to the Fresno Dharma Center. So since then, when I see Reverend Rai, I'm putting my hands together and refer him as Buddha Rai, for leading me to the destination. But anyway, I like this experience because it teaches me how I get lost if I rely on my self-centered ideas. And we need to rely on those who knows the way to the destination. Namo Amida Butsu is the calling of Buddha. This is the calling of Amida Buddha. Just like Reverend Rai said, follow me. Amida Buddha calls us to entrust yourself to my working. Don't worry about it. Because I am incapable of reaching to the Pure Land through my self-power. Amida Buddha established the working of the name Namo Amida Butsu and directs the virtues working to us. And Namo Amida Butsu is also the calling of Buddhas, including Shakyamuni Buddha, recommending us to entrust yourself to the working of Amida Buddha, entrust ourselves to the working of Amida Buddha. And because they know that the working of Amida Buddha unfailingly lead practitioners to the attainment of birth, they recommend the working of Amida Buddha. So we are always reaching or receiving. We are always receiving the working of Amida Buddha and recommendation of Buddha in the name Namo Amida Butsu. So we are hearing, accepting, listening to this calling of Buddha. So we respond to the calling with reciting Namo Amida Butsu. I entrust myself to the working of Amida Buddha. And Namo is transliteration of a Sanskrit word namas, and it has a meaning salutation. About a week ago, I was invited to West LA Buddhist Temple's, lecture, and there, one of the questions was what the meaning of Namo Amida Butsu, and then, I started to talk about Shantao's explanation of the name Namo Amida Butsu, Shinran Shongin's explanation of the name Namo Amida Butsu. But, it was for the beginners. So I thought, oh man, I made mistake talking about too difficult things to understand. Then Reverend Koe Umezu, she was one of the presenters for this convention. But she, kind of assisted me, saying, Namo has the meaning like this, and Amida Butsu have this. And I really appreciate Reverend Koe Umezu for assisting me to explain, in a simple manner that, Namo has the meaning salutation. This explanation is one of the best explanation or most favorable understanding of the word Namo, I like. Sometimes we hear Namu Amida Butsu, and some people say Namo Amida Butsu. But Namu and Namo is same thing. We are just pronouncing the Chinese characters in different way, right? So Namo or Namu has the meaning salutation. And salutation means a gesture or utterance made as a greeting or acknowledgement of another's arrival or departure. So when we say Namo Amida Butsu, we are acknowledging Amida Buddha's working's arrival. Amida Buddha calls us to entrust ourselves to the working. So we respond with salutation and gratitude. And we attain birth into the Pure Land and become Buddha when we pass away. So this is kind of the simple structure of Jodo Shinshu teaching, right? Then is the Pure Land teaching or Jodo Shinshu teaching only talking about when we pass away. That's not true, right? Through being reassured to be born into the Pure Land, how we live this life will be transformed. You know, if you drive a car, you know which the gas pedal or brake pedal is, right? But in the past, we were driving the car without brake pedal and using only the gas pedal to drive ourselves. And can you imagine the car without brake pedal? That's scary and, you know, that's sure to cause the accident, right? But just like driving a car without brake pedal, we were driving ourselves using the gas pedal of greed, anger, and stupidity. You know, I shared my playing of music and short clip of my Kung Fu during this message. If you have watched the Japanese Dharma talk, then you have seen a little bit longer clip of my Kung Fu in the video too. But, you know, if I don't have the mind of greed for the praise and compliment, I didn't have to share that. But because there is the mind of greed seeking for the praise and compliment, I put the videos in and the music as the background. So this is me. And because of this nature of me possessing the blind passions, Amida Buddha grasped me and never abandoned me. But we cannot drive car without brake pedal, right? So we need brake pedal in our daily lives. That is the wisdom of Amida Buddha. After encountering the teaching of Amida Buddha's wisdom becomes brake of our mind. When we were focusing on too much of the extreme understandings, Amida Buddha's wisdom teaches us to have balance in our lives. I don't know about Reverend Peter, but I have 4 bass guitars, 2 electric guitars, 1 acoustic guitar, 2 ukuleles, 2 keyboards, and a lot of pedals for the bass guitar. But I still want more. This is also my greed too. But Amida Buddha's wisdom teaches me, you already have enough, right? And I am always refusing to accept Amida Buddha's wisdom, thinking, no, I don't have enough yet. But not only the greed, but when we get angry, we say something we should not have to say. And Amida Buddha's wisdom teaches us to rethink before we speak. And I really need to rethink my own actions. And when we see someone or something different from us, we often try to exclude them. But Amida Buddha's wisdom teaches us to have the mind of acceptance. And finally, when we are stuck in traffic, we be impatient and starts to get angry. Driving becomes impatient, and that's dangerous too. So Amida Buddha's wisdom teaches us to have the mind of endurance. So, you know, these are all examples, and there must be more applications in our daily lives. But Amida Buddha not only grasps us and never abandon us and unfailingly bring us to the attainment of birth, but also serves as brake pedal of our mind in our daily lives. So this year's convention's theme was acronym: appreciation, realization, and transformation. That I wanted to conclude the convention with sharing one of my favorite acronyms, which I share at many temples in various occasions. But as I mentioned in the booklet for the explanation of the theme, each person's life is unique, and through weaving the fabric of life with the teaching of Amida Buddha as warp and our daily lives as weft, I am sure that our lives will be one of the beautiful art in this world. So this concludes the 74th Annual Northwest District Convention. But I am hoping that everyone learned something out of this convention. And I am looking forward to meet everyone in person sometime in the future. So until then, please stay safe and well with Nembutsu. So thank you very much for listening to today's closing service. And in closing, please join me in Gassho. Please put your palms together. The word here in the passage from the Raja Sutra means that sentient beings, having heard how the Buddha's vow arose, its origin and fulfillment, are altogether free of doubt. This is to hear. Shinjin is shinjin that is directed to beings through the power of the primal vow. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda.
This ends the closing service. Please join me in Gassho. Namu Amida Butsu, Namu Amida Butsu, Namu Amida Butsu. Thank you for your attendance. I do have one announcement. The next Northwest Buddhist Convention will be hosted by Idaho Oregon Buddhist Temple in Ontario, Oregon. So we will be expecting to hear from them in the near future. Thank you again, and please take care and stay safe.